Today's date is March the 11th, 2017, and today marks the 7th year of me being sober. And today what I thought I would do is I would do basically sort of a reflection and why I think it's significant right this period of time. I'm also going to talk about ongoing difficulties that I face. I'm going to then talk also about, I'm going to talk about basically hope, the techniques that I have, and I'm going to hopefully talk a bit about hope for the future. At least I had to look this up, but I had sort of been under the impression that every 7 years that your physical cells in your body change, like they basically remake themselves, right? And, I kind of have always thought that like 7 years, basically you're a whole new person. Like your, skin changes, your organs change, your veins, everything changes in you. Now I found out that, number one, that's a bit of an urban myth. I was a terrible drunk, and I like to say I was like the worst drunk ever because I was really bad. Okay, so the one example was about 3 weeks ago, and it was a Saturday night, and I was working at the job, and I knew I had a couple days off after, right? So it was a Saturday night. It was really nice and warm out, right? Like it was like unusually nice. It was kind of that spring sort of feel to it, and I had a bit of money, and I always keep alcohol here, right? I always keep alcohol here as sort of like for guests, but also for me to feel like I have power over the alcohol. But nonetheless, on the downside, you always have the alcohol here, so you're always ready to go just like that. So nonetheless, I knew I had money, I had some time, Saturday night, right? People were in a really good mood, and I was just, I didn't have to work, and I had some time off, and I really wanted to go out. I thought, what, Jakey, give it one more rip. Give it one more, just get out there, have some freaking fun. So, that didn't happen too long ago, right? That just happened a few weeks ago. And then, even more recently than that, was about 4 days ago, there was a family, friend, community sort of gathering, and I was there, and, just like usual, there's lots of wine, there's lots of beer, it's all being passed around, people are in a good mood, there's music playing, and, like, this is like, where I learned to drink, right? Like, this was sort of the atmosphere that sort of, like, communal, and drink's just part of it, right? It's just here, it's there, bottle of wine, cup of wine, half a cup, hey, pass me another, let me get you a refill, walking around with the wine bottles. So like, this is sort of the atmosphere that, I recognized that alcohol was equated with fun, and with community, and with friends, and stuff like that. And even as a little tyke, that connection happened, in my head, and that's why I love drinking so much, or that's one of the reasons I love drinking so much. And so just being in that atmosphere, I was there for about two hours, about that third hour of being there, I really started feeling that pull. Like, I started looking at that wine bottle, and I started like checking out where's the beer, and I started like, thinking like, I'm getting really feeling like drinking, right? And so I left the party somewhat, abruptly and just rapidly, just because I need to protect myself, and I need, like, no matter how much sober I get, right? All I have to do is start drinking, a beer, and I can drink, and I'll be drinking again because I like it, So one of the things I've noticed, right, is that you have sort of ongoing, I would say, psychological problems, and I'll say that, psychological problems that sort of, I don't know if they were already there or they emerge, post-drinking. So what I'm saying about like psychological problems is that you can start to overthink things, right? You can start to because now all of a sudden you got like this sort of like unused brain power that you haven't had before, or you've been dulling it out, or whatever you want to call it, that's all of a sudden going on, and so your brains start like thinking about things like a lot, right? And you got time too, because you're not spending, the 6 to 8 hours or, to party for a night, and so you got more time, and you can start to really think about things, and overthink things, and double and triple overthink things, and, go all the way to the end of the line, and then you can, it can be really difficult to sort of, interact sort of normally, because your brains are just going like so fast ahead, like a chess player, like playing like 18 moves ahead, right? Now, my situation is maybe just a slightly tweaked variation because I'm on YouTube, and people are recognizing me, that I don't know them, they know me, and stuff like that from that, but I always liked that. I always wanted to be like a star. So, I have to say that that's sort of an innate, desire that I wanted to, be famous, or I love it. I like the spotlight. I've always liked it. So I'll go to a bar and order, a hamburger and a drink, but then I'll leave, right? Like, in fact, that's one of my favorite things to do. I gotta leave because I like it too much. I can't be hanging out there, right? But, they do have some good food, and, I do like that kind of stuff, the music, the sports, good-looking girls. I mean, you name it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's there, but, you gotta learn how to, like, minimize that. Same thing with the party. You go to the party, you're there, but, as soon as you start feeling uncomfortable, or maybe give yourself a time limit, like say, okay, I'm gonna go for an hour, or I'm going to go for 2 hours. Me, I usually go for about 2 to 3 hours, right? I like to show up, I like to see people, and that's about my max. I put myself into sort of like a situation where I feel like safe and comfortable, right? Like safe, comfortable, stuff that I like to do. And, cozy bed, long walks, sit by a tree, like these types of things, just think, what else do I like to do? I don't know. I like maybe going for a drive, I go on a computer a lot, so I like watching, videos or maybe a movie or something. I like sports too, like, maybe watch a game or just something that I'm like, and also the food too. Like, I'll get the types of food that I know sort of like satiate me, right? And the satiation sort of takes that biological urge, because a lot of times, like the alcohol, they want like the blood sugars and stuff like that, and I try not to eat too much sugar, right? But, a little tiny bit, it sort of eases that sort of urge down. Once in a while. Usually I don't eat sugar, but I'll eat like I'll eat something that's like a starch, like a bread-like thing, like a carbohydrate that gives me that sort of satiation feeling. So one of the problems that I'm going to say about the techniques is that at least for now you become a little bit like boring, and I don't know if you want to call it like like OCD type of person, because you do, I don't know what OCD is, to be honest with you, so I don't know. But I like to do the same things in a particular order, in a pattern, right? And the reason I'll do those things in a pattern is because, like, I know that it works for me, right? And I know that it works for me. Like, I usually go on a similar walk every day. Like, I usually go and I'll eat the same types of food pretty much every day with a little bit of variation. I'll go to certain places at certain times, and I know that those things work. So that's like a technique too, is, repeat. This is, I'm still, somewhat scared of drinking again, right? I would consider it being my number one risk would be, of dying or becoming, very, very, very ill, right? That would be my number one risk. And number two, and number three, number four, number five. So number six, I don't know what number six is. Maybe like I don't know what type of problem you can have, but those would be definitely my biggest risks. So your mind starts to sort of settle down, and it's not like crazy every day like it used to be for me, right? Like every day from the minute you wake up till you go to sleep, it's crazy, and you don't know what's going to happen, right? And you don't know where you're heading, and you don't know where you're going to get the money, and you don't know hey, if you're in the scene, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's nuts out there, and so you're not going through that, right? You're not spending the money on it, right? So like it becomes a major expense, right? Like you're out there, you gotta buy, your case of beer, your bottle of wine, your jug of whiskey, your Listerine. I got down to the Listerine. It was bad news, right? And then, if you're into the drugs, you gotta go get your stuff, right? So you gotta find it, right? You gotta go find it. You gotta find the money for it. You gotta figure out how to get it. You gotta sell this, do that. You gotta buy that. You gotta, it's a whole thing. So, you're not doing any of that. That doesn't take up any of your mental activities, right? So that's good, right? Right? Some of the reputations that you got, or the ways people think about you, will never change, right? But for the most part, they will, right? I'd say for the most part, people start liking you again and start talking to you. They start thinking you're cool again. They start wanting to hang out with you. For the most part, I'd say that the relationship slowly but steadily, the closer circle of friends, they will stay and they will come back and be your friends again. And they'll think you're cool. They kind of think you're cool because, like they seen you in a bad state. Now you're in a better state. And me, I feel like it was what they call it, like a divine intervention, right? Like a divine intervention, or it was epiphany, a divine intervention, epiphany. I don't know. Like I was drunk one night, right? I was drunk real bad, and I was sitting on that toilet, right? And I was drunk. I was really drunk. I was like a month deep in drinking, right? With just as many beer bottles as there was floor space and up on on every counter and everything like that. And I was just doing one of my rips. I mean, it was just normal activities for me, right? Like, you'll know what I mean if you're a hardcore, right? Like, it's not nothing that, it's just normal. It's just, hey, this is my life, beer here, beer there. Beer. I mean, in one way, it would almost be like a flashback if I was able to, be drunk and show you how bad of a drunk I was. But anyway, so I was sitting on that toilet, and I looked up about 4:30 a.m., right? And I seen this flash, which I don't know if it was a real flash or if it was a satellite flash or if it was a star or what the heck it was. I think it was a satellite, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, whatever it was, this white light flashed like this, like up in the sky, and it triggered off this nanosecond sort of insight into my life, like seeing the phrase "the whole life before your eyes." But instead of me seeing it in one stream, I saw it in like sort of the sober stream and the drunk stream, right? Like I seen all my drunken days and I seen all my sober days, and I saw the differential right between the two being so crass, because I had been trying to quit drinking maybe 1,500 times, something like that. Pretty much every day you wake up, you swear you're not going to drink again, but you're drinking again by 4 o'clock. Right? So I quit drinking a lot of times. I go a couple days and that'd be about it, right? So, but I knew that I couldn't keep switching back and forth between these two. And even though I didn't quit that night, I quit 2 nights later. Like I quit, there was a Thursday night that happened, and I had to wait till a Saturday because Sidney Crosby was playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, Penguins versus the Leafs, on Saturday night hockey night in Canada, and I was huge in hockey night in Canada, so I had to watch that, and I couldn't be quitting drinking doing that. One last go, right? So I went for that. But then on that Sunday, I woke up on that Sunday, and I haven't ever drank since. I was really, really bad, right? And I was really dedicated to being bad. I was dedicated, right? I was the bad dude, right? So, and I got a lot of beer in there, right? I got a lot of beer, right? I got enough to, go for, a while. So that's how I'm doing it, right? Real minimalist for the real maximalist, right? So, okay. Well, I hope you like that little talk there. I don't know, I don't know if I'll ever talk about this again. I do hope, though, and I do pay attention to the comments. I know I'm not commenting back as like I used to, sort of, but, I encourage you, listening to this right now, right, that I'm telling you, you're looking at the dude who was the worst, right, the worst.